Hello, welcome to my screencast. In this episode, I would like to work through handling push notifications on Android. And before we start coding, I would like to get a little bit of an introduction into the whole story. So basically, in order to handle push notifications on Android, there is a dependency that has to be added in the build script, which is the Firebase messaging. At this moment, I'm using that specific version, but it shouldn't matter. So next, in the Android manifest, we have to define a service. Basically, we have to define a path of a class which extends the messaging service which belongs to that package that we are that we put the dependency in the build script. And here is an example of how that service looks like. So the key point is to extend the Firebase messaging service and then override the onMessageReceived function. And here, as we can see, we are having in the input argument a remote message, which actually contains what is sent to the device as a push notification. So there are two types of messages that we can send, and we can easily see this if we are using the Firebase console, but basically the backend can send one of the two. So the key difference is in the key of this JSON structure that comes in. So if we receive a notification, most of the time, it is required. It has to contain title and body because the system is going to handle this, especially if the application is in the background. The system will display the notification by itself if we have everything registered in a manifest as the documentation says. So the notification is expected to contain title and body, so they will translate into whatever. It will translate into a title and body on the notification itself on the UI. However, this doesn't seem to be a robust and scalable solution because these texts should probably come from the backend or like REST API that you may have. And in that sense, if you're having, let's say, multiple languages that you want to handle in your application, your backend will have to care about different languages and different translations, and then it has to know what is the current language on the device, like if you're having manual selection of languages, and that's not a very neat solution. However, there is another type of notification where the key has to be called to data, and then we can put in the JSON structure basically a key value arguments that can be sent to the device. And in that sense, for example, in this example, I'm going to use an event type key, which actually I will use to describe what type of notification is sent. And then on the device side, based on that event type, I'm going to build particular notification, which will pull the string resources from the string resources XML. And in that sense, no matter on what language is selected on the device, it will display the correct translation. Also here, we can send additional arguments if we want to. For example, which user is pressing like, and so on, in order to display whatever we want on the notification side. So here, based on that key, here is how it looks like the actual remote message object. So there is notification and there is data. So the data, as we can see, is a type of map of string, which is, as we said previously, this key value. And this is what we are going to work with. So it's important to remember that it's going to be a map of string. Then in terms of Android API, I would like to say a few words because there might be somebody who's watching this screencast that is not very familiar. So in the Android app notification manager, in that class there is a notify function. That's how we trigger displaying a notification to the system. It takes integer ID and what I call a system notification object that we have to come up with. And how we can build this type of system notification, there is another API in the Android X Core app. At this moment I'm using that import. There is, because there is a support package as well, but people who are more into Android, they know what's the difference. And notification Compat.builder, there is a static class inside the notification Compat, which constructor takes context and channel ID. There is one that takes only context, but it is deprecated. And there is a build function that actually returns the system notification that we are interested. Here I would like to also talk a little bit about a tip that I'm mostly using whenever I'm in front of working on any type of solution that I'm not certain how it's gonna look like. There is a thing called sequence diagram, which actually I can represent how am I imagining, or it can help me to understand how the classes are gonna collaborate between each other in order to achieve what I wanna achieve. So here is a little example of how this solution may look like. So this is sort of a drawing, and it like the solution may. I may follow the main the main drawing of this one. I may differ somewhere, I don't know yet, but mainly when a notification comes in, it is as we said, object. It's a map of string. It comes in the system, so I'm gonna have some sort of notification handler which will delegate the message into some sort of message resolver. It will return me back a notification item. So this notification item will be something that will be representing based on the type, the event type that we saw previously. It's gonna be resolved into actual object. Then using that notification item, I'm gonna send it into a notification builder, which will generate data structure. I am calling here notification data, which will contain the ID and the system notification. So this system notification can be built using that notification Compat builder. So I want to isolate that one because it is probably not that easy to test. It is bound to the Android internal, so I'm not certain that I'll be able to test that one. And finally, using that notification data, I'm gonna just deliver it to some sort of notifier. So these three classes are gonna be, I'm seeing them as collaborators into the notification handler, and the notification handler will not have much of destruction in terms of abstraction layers. I think, I hope this is clear. So now we can move on and start coding. So here we are in a test package. So I'll go ahead and create a test. So I'd like to test the notifications. I would like to start writing feature tests that will sort of give me an end-to-end test of the whole thing and work towards the internals. So in a sense of outside in, that's what I want to achieve. I'll start with a test. So should display notification. Okay, so start with a verification. So as we saw in the API previously, there is a notification manager. I'm expecting a notify call with, let's say, 1, 2, 3, and some sort of, oops, I'll call it system notification. Right, this is what I want to happen. I will move also this one into a, I'll name it like that, so this will become a bit more clear. And I'll create a local variable of this one, which will be notification. So this is actually the import is the system notification that I spoke about before. And what is the notification manager? So this is something that I would like to mock. It is a system class. So I'll make property out of it. I'll make it mock. And it is a, yeah, that's the one that I want to use. So because I'm using mocks, I'll use Mockito runner here. So this is what I want to happen, but how do I trigger this? So as I shown in the sequence diagram, I'm going to have some sort of notification handler, and let's say handle, oops, remote message. So the remote message will be empty map for now, and the handler itself will be some sort of class. Yep. I'll move it on the other side. I'll close this panel. And there has to be a handle function. And yeah, and I'll need to initialize this one. So let's run this test and see what happens. Basically, there is this to do, so it has to throw an exception with not implemented. I just want to see it happening. Yep, a little waiting here. Yeah, why I'm not initializing this in the same line? Because as we saw in the sequence diagram, most probably I'm gonna have some collaborators here, by which I don't know yet. But I know that I probably will have to pass them, so that's why I am having right away the setup here. I could have started directly initializing and then extract it into a before, but I just went straight away. Okay, so not implemented. I'll delete this and run again. So I just want to see if this test fails for the right reason. Okay, so here it says wanted but not invoked, notification manager that notify something. Cool, that's what I want to see in the failing test. So that's my failing feature. Now I'll go ahead and work towards the internals. So I'll start off by creating a test for the notification handler. So first thing that I want to happen is this notification handler should resolve remote message into notification item. Right. So let's start with verification again. I expect some remote message handler to be called. Passing the remote message that comes into the handler. So I'll say that the remote message is for now empty map. And so that's the argument. And what is the remote message handler? For now, it's gonna be a mock that I would like to be a collaborator into the handler. So okay, so I would like this to be resolver. That's what I want, and I'll create a class for that one. Move it on the other side. So this will be a mock. I need Mockito runner. There is no resolve function, and I'll create a member function, remote message. Okay, for now it's not gonna be implemented. So in order to trigger this happening, I need to do so when I call notification handler dot handle, which is going to be a property, same here. Exactly. So when I call a notification handler handle, I want the remote message resolver to be called. And in order to have that happening, most probably, I mean, I have no relation at this moment, so I'm gonna just pass this dependency in the constructor. And I'm gonna go ahead and refactor the handler. So here I'm gonna say remote message resolver as constructor parameter. So if I go here and run, it's gonna say a compilation error, because in the feature test, exactly, in the feature, I am not passing message resolver. So in the feature test, I'm gonna use real class instead of a mock. Yes. The reason is that in the feature test, I'm gonna mock only the outside world that I cannot really control and that I depend on. But here in the unit tests or the low level instances, I would like to actually mock the collaborators and focus on the actual class under test. So now I'm just gonna run. It will fail for the right reason, which is having not called an expectation. So I just do remote message resolver, resolve remote message, and that should satisfy the test. Right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So should build notification data from notification item. Okay, so I'm gonna start with verification. Notification builder build notification item. So the notification item is something that will be coming from the resolver, and I expect that a notification builder will be called passing notification item. And so yeah, that's the expectation according to the sequence diagram that I wrote before. So the notification item, let's go ahead and create a type for this one. Finally, create local variable is notification item. Create class, so I'm gonna put it into items package. And what is the builder? The builder is property. I'm gonna create a class for the builder. Yep, move on the other side. And this is also going to be a collaborator. I'm gonna move it here, make it a mock. So the builder still doesn't have a build function, create member function build. It takes notification item, but it has no implementation at this moment. So I expect this to happen with the same call on the notification handler, handle remote message. So as I see here, I have remote message, and here I have remote message. I'm gonna move this one outside here, and when I call this, I want this to happen, but I need to pass this guy as an argument in a constructor because it will be sort of collaborator. So notification builder, for now that one is mocking this in this test. So let's go ahead, refactor this one. I'll make this. Yeah, and if I run now again, I'll get a compilation error because of the feature test. So if I go back here, I need a real instance of this guy. Create local variable. Exactly. Let's get back here and run. So this is not happening. So right. So why do I need to satisfy this one? So in order, after calling handle this remote message, I'm expecting the notification item to be passed. So first thing that is happening, because I have a test here that does that, I need to set up what will be returned by the remote message resolver. So I'll say given remote message resolver resolve the remote message will return the notification item. So at this moment it does not return anything. So if I go ahead here and make it return notification item, now this one is fine, and I'll just rerun, and I'll get back here. It's all right. Now I need this one to be notification item is remote message resolver resolve, and I need to pass that into a notification builder build. Exactly. So these two tests should work now. Exactly. Let's go ahead and continue with another test. So the next thing that I expect to happen is deliver notification data to notifier. Exactly. So here I would say verify notifier notify with notification data. What is the notify? Well, first I'm trying always to start with what I'm passing. So Then afterwards, when I define the classes and the actual functions from that are emerging from the test, the right type of argument is gonna be placed. Sometimes it is not that easy, but and pretty straightforward, but most of the time it is. So yeah, I follow that. So I need a local variable. Notification data is notification data. I have in the sequence diagram I wrote approximately what types these guys are gonna take, but for now I'll just leave it empty. I'll move this into a package called data. Okay, and so verify that notifier. So it's gonna be another collaborator in the handler. I'll make it property. I'll make a class out of it. Create class. Yeah. And this is going to be also a mock. I'll move this one up together with the other mocks. Okay, here I have create member function, notification data. Okay. Right, so in the same phase as the previous one, notification handler, handle remote message, and I expect this to happen. Okay, first, the notifier is not part of the notification handler still, so I'm just gonna pass it as a constructor argument or a dependency. If I go back here, it should be yes. And so here, in order to get this happening, I have to do the same setup that I've done here. So I first set up the remote message resolver, resolve remote message will return notification item, which I don't have it yet. So I'll make this, and then I also need the builder will return the notification data. At this moment it is not returning anything, so here I go. So I have the setup and I need this to happen, so I'm running the test. Okay, compilation error here, so let's make local variable notifier. Exactly, so this here I have real instances that I'm passing into notification handler, and here I'm having mocks. Let's run again. It's gonna fail for the right reason. Exactly, wanted but not worked. So here I'm gonna say and just pass it into the notifier, and if I run here, I'm gonna run all the tests at once. Cool. Let's do a little refactoring here. So basically I have this one repeated here. I'll just move it in the before function in the setup here, and I'll do whenever this, the resolver is called resolve with remote message, then return notification item. And what is notification item? I'm just gonna make a property out of it. And here I don't need it. Okay. I will move it up here. Let's run again. Right. Okay, nice. So so this one now is working and it looks more or less fine to me, and this class as well. So it just takes 3 collaborators and just uses them to create notification item, then data, and then notify using that data. I will close this one and close this one and run the feature, so it's gonna tell me where to go next. Okay, and an operation is not implemented. So if I open the remote message resolver, this is what is happening, because the feature test is calling the real instances and this is not implemented. That's where I have to go next. So I'll just go ahead, create a test for this one. So as I said yesterday, so the responsibility of this class is to basically to act as a factory. So based on the event type that's gonna be included in the remote message, I have to create some sort of type, and the type is notification item. So I'm already thinking, right now I have just a class notification item that has nothing inside, but I'm already thinking about making it an interface. So like, for the next types that I may agree with the backend to be sent to me, I'll have to just define new classes and register that here. And in that sense, I'm gonna accomplish the open-close principle. So the notification item is not gonna change much, but it will be open for extension. Okay, that's what I'm just thinking right now, and I'll start first with a test. So the remote message resolver should return default notification item for empty remote message. So when I just receive empty remote message, I just want to make some sort of default notification item. And then later on, if I want to display the default, I mean, when I receive a message that I won't understand, basically, I'll just show some default push notification, so the user will be informed that something is happening. Or if I decide not to handle them, I can just say, okay, if it's default, if the remote message resolved into a default type, I just don't display it. Easy as that. So here I expect default notification item to be the result. Yes. So what is default notification item? What is result? So let's go ahead and create these two things. So the result will be remote message resolver resolve empty remote message. Empty remote message will be empty map. Right. And remote message resolver, I'm gonna make a property and I'll initialize it right away. Okay, and I already have this guy, so I'm just gonna I'll have to define what's the default notification item. So create local is default notification item. So in order to be able to assert equality on these types, I need to make them compare. I need to make them capable of comparing in a way. So I need some I mean, they have to contain something inside, like in terms of properties. And at this moment, I know that actually the notification will have some sort of notification item, and I think I'm gonna start with just passing some notification item, which will be some int here. And the notification item, I'll just create it. It will live into the items. I'll move it there. Yes. Yeah, so if I run, they don't, yeah, this guy returns different type. Not well, first, nothing is implemented. So here, I expect to return default notification item. Yes. So it says it is not, I cannot return because it's a compilation error because the types are different. So I'll just go ahead and make this one derive from notification item. But notification item is an actual type, so I'll have to make it, it's a class. So I'm gonna make it interface. And if I get back here, yeah, everything seems to be on place. And if I run this, hopefully, oops, I have a compilation error. Okay, because of the previous tests. So I'll just go ahead and see what is happening. Oh yeah, it. Yeah, I need to actually define an ID. So here in the test, I have just passed 1, 2, 3. But most probably, I need to actually, based on the type, on the event type that's gonna come from the backend, I have to create this notification item, and the notification item should have unique ID based on the on that type. So I'm just thinking that I'll just make, okay, I'll extract this one into a local variable, and I'll say if it's default, I'll just get the hash code of the default. And here, I'm just gonna say the same thing and return it. So if I run, what's gonna happen? Yep, so I have a problem in here. It takes some arguments. Here I'll just pass 1, 2, 3 for now. Oops, no, I need to make this concrete type. And if I run this one, yeah, all the 3 are passing. And maybe in the same sense, because all the time here I'm working with empty, well, I'll leave it as it is for now. So this one should pass. Okay, yeah, this guy has to be data class. Something like this, and now it should pass. Okay, cool. Then let's go ahead and write a new test. It should return like notification item for like remote message. So I'm just gonna say assert equals like notification item result. The result will be remote message resolve like remote message, and the like remote message will be map of event type to like. Oops. Okay. And the like notification item will be like notification item, and here will be, let's say, like hash code. And actually I'll just extract this into a like notification ID. Yeah, let's create a class out of this. Also in the items, move it here. This should be notification ID, and here I would say yeah, let's run. It will fail because now I just returned the default one. Yep. So yeah, first I think I forgot to make the like also data class. I don't need this for now. Run. Yep. So the types are different. So what I need here is to say event is remote message event type. So I'm gonna put this into a constant. Right, and then I'll say when event type like notification item, and I'd say event type hash code, else just return default, and default will be default hash code. Yes. What is the, yeah, I'll just make here the same. Here I'll have default, and I'll have like. There we go. Those are, everything's private, so it belongs only to this class. And I'll put here. Yes, so this one is not notification item. Oops, just do it here. Yes, so if I run both of these tests, great. So now I'm just thinking that since both of them are taking an ID, I'm gonna just move that ID as a obligatory property in the notification item. So I'll say notification item int. So every new derivative from this interface will have to override this one. So it will be a must. So if I get back here, yeah, I will have to say that this is an override. What does it say? Oops, it should be ID. Yes, here we go. So that's the like, and then the default should also make it override. Yeah, remote message resolver resolve. If I run the tests, okay, both are still passing. Everything seems fine here. Default notification item, yeah. Okay, I'll just leave this as it is. Close this and close this and get back into the feature test and run again to see where we are. Right, so next one is the notification builder here. So basically this one should take notification item and make notification data out of it. So the notification data most probably, I mean, as I had in my head before, when I was writing the sequence diagram, it's gonna have the ID and the system notification out of it. Okay, let's go ahead and write the test first. So should build notification data from notification item. So I'm just gonna say assert equals notification data result. What's gonna be the result? The result is gonna be notification builder build notification item. Right. Notification item will be default notification item, let's say. So, and the data, create local variable, will be notification data. So here, let's extract this one. Well, first I'm just gonna write it this way, and then we'll just extract this one into notification ID, and the system notification, I'll just make it yes. Yeah, so it says that I have to make them part of notification data. So this will be a data class. I have notification ID, I have system notification, that's the notification data that I was thinking about, and I don't need this. So what's the builder? Create property, notification builder. Looks like this. Cool. And if I run this, yeah, it will say not implemented. Oops, it says compilation error. Yeah, because in the other test, I did not specify what's going to be the notification date and the system notification. Basically, I have yeah, maybe I'll get rid of duplication later. For now, I'll just say notification ID. Yeah, so I have, I'm resolving the remote message. 1, 2, 3. System notification, create local variable. Yeah, this should still run. Yes. Let's run this one. Okay, not implemented. Yeah. So another thing here is that I have to build a notification, like this system notification type. But in order to build it, as we saw in the API in the presentation, I need to deal with Android specific APIs and Android specific classes. So I would like to isolate it somehow. And in that sense, I'm just gonna say here, given some sort of system notification maker make, I'll pass here the I'll pass here notification item, and it will return the system notification. So I'm gonna isolate this thing. I'll make a property lay in it system notification maker. I'll create a class out of this test, and it's gonna have a make function that will take notification item no matter which, and it will return a system notification type, this one, right? So for now I have no implementation, but basically that's what I want. And in order to make this, I have to make this part of this class. Here I'll just say mock this guy, run this with Mockito, make this lay init type notification builder, and in the setup I'll make notification builder new instance and pass there the system notification maker. I'll add this as constructor parameter. I'll make it val, right. Okay, so here what I need to do is I'll say system notification is system notification maker make from notification item, and I'll return a notification data with notification item.id and the system notification. Yes, so I'm just gonna combine those two and return it as a notification data. That's what I want to see here. Okay, I'm having again an error because in the feature test I have to pass system notification maker, but because this is not something that I can easily control, I'm gonna make a mock out of it instead of real instance in the feature test. So I'll make it lay init system notification, I'll mock it and get back to my builder test. Cool. So that's what I want to see. Right. I think this looks fine. Yeah. I don't see much of things that I may refactor here. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. anyway, it's there is not much time anyway, so I'll just continue here. All right, so yeah, so here I have to also set up the system notification maker as well. So basically I need the same setup, the system notification maker make, well, here I would say any will return system notification. And so yeah, I can move this later in the setup. Right, so what is missing here is saying that I'm expecting well, no, the notifier, which is real instance, this is the failure, and I don't have tests for this. So let's go ahead and create so what is the responsibility of this one? This one should deliver notification into notification manager. This is the system notification manager, and I'll go ahead and start with verification. Verify notification manager dot notify ID system notification. What is the ID? Let's say 123. What the system notification is just notification. So I call notifier.notify, and I'll pass notification data of that ID and system notification, and I expect the notification manager to be called. So what is the notifier? Create local variable property. So that's my instance of the notifier, and the notification manager will be property. This will be mock of the system notification manager. That's the one. I'll put it here. And yeah, I need a before block. And here, I'll just instantiate the notifier and pass there the notification manager. This is not yet accepted. I'll just make this refactoring here to pass it as constructor argument. Okay. So what I wanna do here is with notification data, manager, notify notification ID, and the system notification. Yeah, basically these two are coming from this, and this with it just takes it, and all the properties of it are available right away. So if I run this test, it has to work. Alright, so I need to say that I'm gonna be running with Mockito. Nice. Okay, cool. So now if I get back to my feature and run, oops, sorry. Yes, so the ID is different. So basically, because everything resolves here, I'm passing empty, and it's gonna resolve to default, and the default ID is default hash code. The IDs are different, but the rest is fine, so the whole feature will work great. And even if I go here and run all the tests at once, everything's working fine. So I have the feature, but basically one thing is missing here, which is this guy here. So how do we create a notification out of notification item? So I'm gonna return, I'm just gonna use again the width thing. So I'm gonna access all the things of the notification item right away. So I need to return notification Compat builder. It takes context, it takes string of channel. Built many compilation problems for now. So what is context? Context is gonna be coming from, yeah, I need this to be the system, the system class context. I'll make it private. And I'll make here a helper function that will use the context. So create function, yes. So it will just translate an ID into a string. So it will take string resource, which is int, and it will resolve it into a string. So here I'll say return context get string resource. Yes. Okay. And this channel will be actually a function into the notification item. Then what else? I need content title will be get string title. Then set content text will be get string message. Then set small icon. It will be directly icon. So just a resource, because this guy can take resource instead of resolved thing. And I can say, for example, set defaults notification default all, yeah, something like that. Let's go ahead and create those functions. So this will be, yes, channel. Then I need the title. And then I need the message. Oops, not there, but here. No implementation, please. And an icon. So yeah, so these are functions in the interface that each notification item will have. So this maker will be able to make a system notification out of it. And now, because I've just emerged those functions in the notification item, I am forced to override all those in the concrete classes. So if I just run it, will be run any test, it will just tell me that this class and this other class are not compiling, right? And this is a production code, so I'll move it on this side, and this guy, oops, and this guy as well. I'll leave the feature here. So I'm just gonna implement all of those, and I'll leave them like this, and here as well. Yes. So let's go ahead, create a test for this one. So this is my default. So what should happen? Default notification item should return correct channel. So, oops, assert equals, let's say our string app name will be notification.channel. I'll make a property because I'll reuse in the other tests too directly. So I need a default notification item. Yeah, it's app name. So let's run this, it will fail. And I'll just go ahead and make it our string app name. Now it will work. Yes. Next, return correct title. Assert. I'll just take this. So as title, I also expect the same, because as a default it will show like which application and then the actual message. Yes. Equals app name. So if I run, right, so should return correct message or string default notification message. I don't have this one, so I'm just gonna create you received notification, let's say, and this one will probably fail as expected. Exactly. So I just go ahead and make it our string default notification message. If I run, it's gonna work. In here, turn correct icon. I'll just make sure it's the launcher. And if I run, in here I'll just make it our launcher. And the beauty of this is that for each new class, I'll just have to override those functions, and then I can write tests for each of the returned values. And the beauty is that no matter on the application language, which is currently selected, it's always gonna be, it will take the right translation, so I don't have to care. So this is quite scalable and quite neat solution. So because of the time, I'm not gonna go through and work through this one, but basically it's the same thing, just I probably have to create different channel, like perks, for example, because a channel is a combination of similar types of notifications. Title, message, probably different than the app, than the one that we were using in the default. Maybe different icon if you want to. And that's mostly it. And what is left is like, now I'm just gonna write the feature, run the feature test to make sure everything is fine once again. And what is left is in the actual, yes, as we see, it is passing in the actual service. So here we have to actually, this is something that is being called when we receive a notification, and from here we have to call the actual handler. So what we have to do is handle remote message data. Oops, instead of remote message we need to do it, because here is we are in the lambda. I'm gonna say the message data. So we are gonna pass null there. And what is the handler? It's gonna be a property, which is gonna be So this will be init var. So here we have to construct it. So most probably you are gonna have some sort of dependency injection framework or some sort of dependency container somewhere that will have this constructed already. So here we can just inject it. But if not, if that's not the case, we can also construct it here. So the handler is resolver, and then builder, and then notifier. The resolver, is RemoteMessage resolver. The builder is notification builder. Here we need to pass system notification maker. So I need to also make instance of a system notification maker. It takes context, which is this, and then notifier, also local variable, and it takes notification manager. Notification manager is get system service notification manager plus Java. So now I have it fully constructed, and when I receive a notification, it's gonna handle it properly. So that's about it. Now I'd like to wrap this up. I really hope that you'll find this useful and that you have enjoyed. Thanks for watching. It was a pleasure.